We'll be right back after a few of these words.
During these difficult times, we understand how important it is to stay healthy and safe. With so many of us confined to our homes and not being able to work, we feel the financial burden more than ever. Paramount Tax Relief is here to help. Need to file your taxes but your local tax shop is closed?
We can help!
Our certified tax agents will work with you over the phone to get your unfiled tax returns in order. Have you received a wage garnishment notice or bank levy?
We can help!
Our legal team will negotiate with the IRS to remove garnishments, levies, and penalties. Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS and don't know what to do?
We can help!
Our professional experts have been in your shoes. They are compassionate, honest, and will find a resolution plan that's best for you. Call for a free phone consultation at 1-800-524-9701. That's 1-800-524-9701. 1-800-524-9701. Paramount Tax Relief is here to help.
And we are back with Kiss My Keister, and our co-host tonight is Socially Joe's Joe Riggio. And we were discussing some of the chemicals that we are not accustomed to during this COVID.
Well, it was interesting. Like I said, when I read the back of the package, first off, I always like to see where it's made, and this was locally made, which was great. Then it had I forget the type of fabric, but it was a good fabric. But then as I read a little bit deeper into it, like the smaller type, it said may cause health issues. Do not wear if you have, allergies, bronchitis, all these other things, or not bronchitis, like heavy breathing issues, because basically the mask will hinder you breathing. And
so in other words, if you have asthma, you might as well just clock out now.
Exactly. But then what I thought was really bad is, like, when I read even deeper into the things, it said something to the fact of the metals in this mask could affect you in certain health aspects, which then I immediately put it down and walked away. I was like, first off, why are there like little bits of metal or particles in there that could be doing this when there should just be fabric? So the light bulb did not go, I did not click on that. But you really have to read what's in these masks because you don't know what's going out there.
Well, what about the homemade masks that, there's people all over the country that are making masks out of material they've found at Joann's Fabrics or old clothing or whatever they're using to make the cloth masks that they're giving away for free. Is there any real good that these masks are doing? Because, they don't have a filter. They're just a piece of expandable cloth that goes over your nose and mouth. If you're lucky, you can get the ones with the elastic. If not, you have to tie them around your ears. So what good are those masks?
Well, they make you look pretty. That's number one.
Oh, no, the ones with the rhinestones and the sequins. They now have masks out there that are outfit coordinated.
So wait, are you telling me that if you go out on the night of the town, you can wear one of those to match your purse?
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good to know. But, yeah, the ones that are out there that are homemade, I think it's very intuitive and very inventive that these people created these things. But when you said it, they don't have filters on them. Now, there are certain people that have made pockets in those masks that you can put a carbon filter in them, and then you have to buy the carbon filters. But you still have to wash them and yada, 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 and all this other stuff. So if you're just going a plain, ordinary one, they just make you look pretty.
It's kind of what I thought. I didn't think there was any real value to that. However, it's better to have something than nothing.
This is true.
I think it was Facebook I was looking at the other day where someone had taken a tube sock, cut it at the heel, cut it at the toe, about a half an inch inward. They made a 1-inch incision through both sides of the sock, and they did so on the other side, and then they kind of rolled it open and slid a paper towel inside. Now, two things happen here. First of all, it was a clean sock. It was obvious it was out of a new package. The paper towel I'm not real sure about, but it did sort of make sense. It would have absorbed anything that would have gotten through, and it would have stayed right there because it was 2 layers of cloth, 1 layer of paper towel. Now, the thing that I liked most was that at least it would be soft around your ears, because if you get the right tube socks, they're really soft. They're really nice. So that would work. Now, my enjoyment in these masks is that I can buy solid colored ones, and knowing that they're a piece of crap right off the bat, I paint them.
Do you tie-dye them?
No, I haven't had to tie-dye them, but I do have a really beautiful rainbow one, you know.
That could go with that costume that we were just talking about.
Yes, it could. It could.
So,
it could be the COVID queen.
Could be. We don't know.
We don't know.
But you bring up a very interesting fact with the tube sock. Is there are videos out there how to create your own masks, and
that was one of them.
Yeah, and my nephew, the oldest one, who loves Nike gear, actually took a pair of Nike socks and made a white mask and a dark mask out of Nike. Now it's got a Nike logo on it. And just giving you a hint, Nike, you might want to do this. Put a mask out there. But anyway,
hey, as long as he's got the rights to Nike, no problem. But if a CFO comes along and says, "Excuse me, can we talk?"
No, it's more like he just chopped up his own sock. So if he wants to, it's okay. Yeah. But he's promoting Nike because he loves Nike all over the place. But it's just very hilarious. But my other question is, you mentioned the 2-ply paper towel. So is it like the paper towel that absorbs the inside and
I have no doubt in my mind it was a Bounty because it's a bigger picker-upper.
Well, you beat me too. I was going to say, is it the picker-upper? Because does it pick up all that stuff?
Might even pick up a couple of dates. You never know what you might get.
Well, we don't know.
Well, tell us what else is happening in the news.
Well, like I said, I try to stay away from most of the news out there. So,
well, that's all right. This show is meant to offend people, so let's do it.
So should we pick up the round of news and just pick something out of the blue?
Run with it.
Okay. Well, I thought this was very interesting at the beginning, but I kind of lost it a little bit. So, got to give me a moment. Something I read earlier about oh God, I just had it too. Nope, maybe not. But basically, I was going to say I had
How's your memory?
Yeah, it's not that good right now. But it basically had to do with the fact of Florida schools reopening within a month, and there would have to be in-person meetings type of thing.
That's right. It was an in-person meeting to register for school.
Yeah, and I thought that was very interesting. So, because I couldn't understand that. Oh, here it is. Florida schools must reopen with in-person instruction, Education Commissioner says.
Okay, now what is in-person instruction? So, does that mean that you have to be in the same 6 feet of that person? Does it mean that you sit in a row of chairs and they call you one by one? Or is it a line down the block, as most schools are when they're registering, and it's 10 times longer because everybody is social distancing?
I think what will probably happen, and I'm only assuming, which I don't like to do, but I'm assuming that what they're going to do is they're going to mandate scheduled times where you're going to have to come in and you're going to have to, pick your classes, whatever you have to do, go over everything like that. Because I heard over the last couple of months with the going in and out with news here and there, just hearing from my family that I have nephews that are in school, that basically they were thinking about doing schools half days, where some kids might go in half a day here and the other might go the other half. And they might go, some might, they were even thinking about maybe they would do 1 day on school, 1 day off school, 1 day on off school. So it was really weird. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is kind of played out.
Well, yeah, because when I was going to school, we went to school 5 days a week from 7:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. And that was to prepare us for our 5-day work week once we graduated from high school. And then we would have an even harder time if we went on to college. So they wanted to make sure that you understood what showing up to class means. Now, if they're going a day here and a day there, they're swapping kids. Now, I realize there's, thousands of kids in a high school building.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I get that. It's half a city, and it's all kids. What on earth makes them think that the kids that go to school on Monday are actually going to come back on Wednesday, and the ones that went in on Tuesday are actually going to come back on Thursday? They're going to have to set these up like a college curriculum in order to be able to do this. These students are not, they're fresh out of grade school. These guys are too young. They don't understand the order because it has not been instilled in them yet.
So here's a great segue for this, okay, in a sense with education, is I have a sister that's in school, or not in school, but she's a teacher, and her husband, who's also a school teacher, would tell us stories about certain things, about how parents would complain to their administrator saying that, you gave us a low grade, you did that, blah, 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 it doesn't matter, whatever it is. But now, since the parents actually had to become the teachers over the last couple months, oh boy, did parents get a really kick in the keister on that one, because they actually got to see what some of the teachers deal with. So with that,
and I understand that there's been a boom in divorces and domestic murder.
Well, that I have not heard about, but that's kind of interesting. So, but it would be kind of interesting to see how the things play out, because, now that parents know what teachers are going through, and you were just talking about a college curriculum type of scenario, that means the parents have to be on board with the teachers and say, okay, if my kid's off this day, they're going to work their butt off. They're going to do this. They're going to go to school this day, but next day they are off and they're working again, and they have to show for it. So
they have no excuse for not making straight A's, because if you have the next day to complete all your homework, that's approximately 10 hours longer than you typically have to do your homework.
Yes, and I'm not making excuses for anyone, and I'm sure you heard about it, but there were a lot of kids in Florida that did not have internet. So with that, they could not get their schoolwork done. So
I have a problem with that too, because we have libraries all over the country that have free Wi-Fi, free internet. And if you're wearing a mask and you social distance, guess what? You can still go in there and use those.
But remember, before we were open back up, we were closed down for a long time, and all libraries were closed. So you couldn't even do that. So there were a lot of kids that did not have access.
That's true. And most of the parents became alcoholics during that process.
And at that point, then the school district or school system actually came up and said, you know what, we're going to convert school buses to free Wi-Fi areas. And they dropped off the school buses in these zones to make free Wi-Fi, and they gave laptops to the students, which was great.
Yeah, and there's not that many children that are going to school these days that don't have access. But we'll talk about that when we come back right after these words.
Hey, this is Dr. Himmer. If you like what you're hearing on Authentically You with me and my bride Sherry, we've written a course for you. It's complimentary and can be found on himmerinstitute.com. Do you have a thorn in your side that you'd like to pull out? The first course is a one-day solution on how to soften a toxic relationship with a loved one. Is that thorn your boss? I'm a specialist in workplace bullying, and I've written a course on dealing with a toxic supervisor. So click on over to himmerinstitute.com and start working on your thorns.
And we are back. This is Kiss My Keister. I'm Katie O'Neill, and my co-host tonight is Joe Riggio from Socially Joe. Joe, welcome back. And let's see, where were we? Drunken parents or belligerent students? I forget.
I don't know. I kind of lost it. We've talked about so many topics and so many things. I'm loving this right now.
Well, there's just a lot going on right now.
Oh, God.
It's a little scary out there, and I don't think that our social media is doing us any favors. I think our social media out there has really, for lack